I come up with.
What do you know or remember about any family when they came over, before they came over from the other side?
I don't know. All I know is my father came over. I'll tell you one little story about my father that I heard. I don't think anybody else heard it, but I heard it. See, I was around the house a little longer than the rest of them. So, he used to want to tell us a lot of things, and we didn't want to listen. We were impatient, and we thought we used to go this way. Here's another long story being ground out. Yeah, but this I do know. He was sitting at the table one evening while we were having our dinner, and he said as a young boy he had gotten a very good education, Hebrew-wise, and regular schooling, whatever it was. And then, for some reason or other, he was sent to live with a family to be their houseboy. Well, they learned that he knew some French. As soon as they knew that he knew French, they dismissed him because they were afraid that he would pick up some conversation around that house and would tell it somewhere. See, people in those days were very secretive. They didn't want you to know anything about their business.
No, they would speak a different language.
So he was dismissed, and then after that, I guess he came over to America.
And did what?
Now, what he did then, I don't know, but he did a lot of things. He was a very hard-working man, and he wanted to learn the American way, and that's why he went off to Reform Judaism with my Uncle Barmack. Did you hear about Uncle Barmack? He had a store at 2nd and South Street.
There was a Barmack drugstore, too.
No relation. This uncle had a double store, 2nd and South, and about 2 doors away lived my Aunt Minnie, my mother's sister. You knew about Aunt Minnie. They started out with a candy store, and the husband got affiliated with the City Hall. He got some sort of a job in combination. She was in the store, and then that store became a bakery shop and that kind of thing. Now, to come back to Uncle Barmack, he was married to my mother and my father's sister, Rebecca. She was a fabulous cook, very fine woman, and there were 4 children. There was Tilly, who was the singer and taught singing. Yeah, she sang at my wedding. You wouldn't know that. And then there was Hilda, who married Dr. Jacob Cahan, who was a heart man. Did you know the Dr. Jacob?
No. He have a son, Herbie.
He has I guess he's a psychiatrist.
Herbie Cahan, the dentist, in 5,000.
That's that was his uncle. Jacob was Herbie's uncle. I'll never forget.
Family, then.
Huh?
Herbie Cahan's connected to the family.
Oh yeah.
He just got married again.
I heard of all people.
Sorry to hear that.
And not only, he really took on some load there, you know that they had a child that's in bad shape. I knew
all right, let's get back.
Grandmother. Oh, all right. About Uncle Barmack. So the two of them decided to join up at Reformed Congregation, Knesset Israel. And they would go every Sunday to hear the sermon, and they got a big charge out of that. They were not only good brother-in-laws, but they were very good friends. They got along beautifully. Now, what else can I tell you? Then there were 2 other children. There was Aaron and Milton. All of them are gone. Every last one of them. Dr. Jacob Cahan has a son who's a psychiatrist. Aunt Goldie can tell you about him. And his mother, I think, lives across the hall from Goldie. You know, Melrose Drive, yeah. Down with her.
Who lives across the hall from my Aunt Goldie here?
I don't know. I don't get up to see her. I don't think she likes it either. I guess I ought to go up. But I tell you the truth, I don't like to be pushy. I've lived alone so much that I don't
I don't think
push
you'd
much.
want to be pushy with her anyhow.
Yeah. Well, I've tried to be friendly. I've been nicer. I talk to her when I see her. I ask her how she is. What else? What else can I do? I can't do too much for her.
Do you remember about your grandparents?
My grandparents. My mother's mother was a pistol. Do you know what a pistol is? Fiery. My grandfather wasn't much. They don't talk about him. He liked to drink beer.
Which grandparents are you talking about?
My mother's mother and father.
That the maiden name was.
Kinderman.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father's family, I think, were a little more aristocratic.
More
So they
Sigalian.
tell me. Huh?
More Sigalian.
That grandmother was very religious. She would come to our house from New York. She lived in New York originally.
Everyone would hide.
Huh? And we used to call her Baba from New York. And as I remember her, I was a little bit of a girl. She wore 1,000 petticoats, and a dress over it, and a leather bag that would hang from her skirt. It always hung from her skirt. And she always had the prayer book. And she, as a child, I thought she was mumbling. That's how she would go. As much as I remember, I didn't remember it too well. Very religious.
And her husband?
I don't remember him. But I think somebody's got the great big picture of her and the big picture of him. Somebody must have inherited that. Maybe Joni. What they did, I don't know. Somebody said they had a flour mill in Europe. I'm not sure of that. Find out. Verify that. You hear such stories, they magnified.
The thing was, your generation in particular
Yeah.
didn't want to know from Borscht about what was overseas. They wanted to become Americans and only know American.
Well, my
kids.
father did it to us.
Yeah.
He said, he said, I'm going to learn the American way, and that's why I'm going off to Reform Judaism. He said, and he was right. He did learn how to speak better, through attending KI.
All the kids in the family, their native language was English. I mean, they were born here.
Oh yeah, we were all born
and
here.
You just started.
We were all born here.
Your parents taught you
now
English?
the older ones, he had a rabbi come in, even for Goldie, to learn Hebrew. They didn't all like it very much, but let me see. I think Leopold was confirmed. I'm not sure about Benny. And I think Henry was. Siggy was. I was. Who?
Have a bar mitzvah.
There were a few, yes. But I'm not sure of all of them. Sam tells about his bar mitzvah. He said they got up some Coca-Cola and put it on the table and sponge cake that his mother made. It was.
That's my bar mitzvah.
They did.
I pulled out of school that day on a Thursday. Went up. This was the area was called Jewtown there.
Yeah.
I went there and I wrapped tefillin and all like that, and I read from the Torah. And after all these old guys down there, they had some sponge cake and some schnapps.
And that was it. Yeah. And I'll tell you a funny story.
I didn't get a fountain pen.
Didn't you?
No.
And then they tell a story. Sam used to tell this story about himself. He was the youngest of 5. He had 4 sisters, and he was the youngest, the only boy. And he had an elderly grandfather who moved in with them. It was his mother's father. Very religious. He'd wrap the tefillin. And of course he expected Sam to do that. So Sam did it for a while, and then he finally got tired of doing it. So he was a little bit of a devil. You know what he did? He said he used to wrap it up real tight. And then he'd leave it on for a little while, and then he'd unravel it. And then he'd run up to his grandfather and say, you see, I was praying.
Showing his heart.
So-
They davened this morning.
He davened. You see, if the crowd isn't doing it, it's sad. You don't do it. It's just like, my father with us, with me especially. I didn't want to go to Sunday school. They started me at age 5. Why? Because my friends weren't going. So you know how he got around it? He was smart.
You made your friends go.
No, he said, you let your friends copy what you're doing because you're doing the right thing. So in other words, he was giving me a compliment,
Yeah.
and then he expected me to do just what he intended. And then he used to say, you see the tree outside the door? This was the big tree on 12th Street. You don't remember 12th Street where we used to live.
It's right near 11th.
12th and Rockland,
No,
we
it
lived
must
there.
be in between.
Yeah, there's a big tree out there. Suppose your friends want to climb that tree and take a jump and break their neck or break their arm. Do you want to do that too? So we had no answers for him. He was a smart man. He raised his children, the straight and narrow.
Yeah, he was rigid with you.
Very rigid, very rigid. Oh boy. But you know something? Prepared us for life. He really did. He prepared us. We could take I guess most of us took about everything, really.
You ever